start reinforcing muscle memory. Good body positioning is completely dependent on those muscles in particular. So if you're using a lot of other muscles to drive the bike, then your body positioning is not right. Okay, so if that felt really awkward, that's already a message that you need to dramatically change the way you ride the bike. That being said, the whole reason for body positioning is to lower our center of gravity and actually become ballast that interferes less with what the motorcycle was trying to do anyway. You guys might understand the gyroscopic effect, like when a bicycle goes at a certain speed. Gyroscopic effect, yes, people. So when that bicycle's moving at speed, if you don't interfere with it, it will tend to follow that course because of the gyroscopic effect. That form of inertia is moving in that direction. The way we overcome that, or start to overcome it, is by adding ballast that starts moving the bike in a different direction. You guys notice when we do this, when we go through the chicane, if you're not getting ahead of the bike when you have to change direction, so you bank to the right, and then as you go left, if you try to push the bike and then follow it, it doesn't really work. You have to actually lead the bike and then pull the bike with you, and then you can start changing direction. So that's the whole point of body positioning, is to lower the center of gravity and help initiate the turning, and also provide ballast when that corner. So Shayne's about to turn left, and he's showing us the body positioning for turn left. See how his butt's up off the seat? See how the ball of his foot is really well weighted, and his foot is pointed in the direction he wants to turn. His knee is completely bent, pointed in the direction he's turned. His leg is opened up, his hip socket's opened up, so his leg's pointing out. His head, his face, his eyes are all looking in the direction he wants to go. All of those things are aspects of good body positioning, and they're actually helping to keep you from interfering with what the motorcycle's trying to do on its own.
And notice how he's got both arms slightly bent. He's got something in reserve.
But the arms aren't holding him up. No, it's the ball of his feet and his thighs. Right. See how this part of his leg, that's really the only thing holding him on the bike. Once he's leaned over, that outside leg, the inner thigh, that's the only thing really holding him on the bike. Okay, how about right side? For those of us on the right side of the group. Okay, so if those arms are really bent, they're really relaxed, he does not have a death grip at all. In fact, he's hardly holding onto the bars at all. It's really the weight that's on the ball of that foot. That's really what's driving and leveraging the bike over. That way, when he's going over bumps and things like that, those bumps aren't being transferred through the suspension to him, and then him aggravate the suspension because his butt's off the seat. So go ahead to the neutral position. Full tuck. Yeah, we don't have the camera cool. So now he's in a full tuck. He's got his head down near the bubble, and really, guys, not just for speed, but also to help increase the efficiency of your body positioning, that having your head down while you're going through the straightaways is a really good idea. So a lot of guys tend to want to sit upright like that and ride. As Bob's going to go into detail about a little later, he's got a much better way for us to handle the straightaways. So that's basic body positioning, that's what we shoot for. Any questions so far? Are your legs still hurting? No. Been doing that all exercise? Okay, how about, let's see, Dirk, there are some aspects I don't think we covered yet.
Yeah, so as Shayne was showing, when he's up on the ball of his feet, if you look at what the suspension does when you're off of the ball of feet, if you watch this, the suspension works underneath his body, okay? So when you're up off the seat, all of that energy is not being transferred into his body. But if he's on the seat and you hit a bump, what happens? Where does all that energy go? The energy transfers directly from the shock all the way through his body and up into his arms. So the reason we tell you guys to get on the ball of your feet and get off the bike and have some daylight between your butt and the seat is so that when you're leaned over and you're going through the ripples, like in, let's see, going actually into the buzzard's neck, how we have that all that bumpage on the inside of the turn there, when he's up off the seat, whatever. Ripplage, bumpage, call it what you want, but that allows him to go ahead like you're doing a right-hand turn and get up off the pegs. As he's turning right, boom, the bike's moving, he's stable. He's able to hold his line and get off the bike. It's doing whatever it needs to. It's not upsetting him whatsoever. And that's why we tell you guys on these turns and even on the straightaways, get up off the seat, get on the ball of your feet, let the suspension work underneath you. Don't let the bike transfer energy to you. You should be transferring energy into the bike. It's also easier to transition, like Paul was talking about, moving from side to side. It's easier to transition when you're on the ball of your feet. If you're sitting on a seat and you lean off, you got to pick yourself up and you've got to pick yourself over and slide over to the other side of the bike. If you're on the ball of your feet, it's just a quick, easy swivel of your hips perpendicular to the tank. So it's a lot easier to transfer weight side to side when you're on the ball of your feet as well. So basically that's why we ask that you guys try to get out there and practice that. Get up on the ball of your feet and get up off the seat a little bit.
All right, I'm going to chime in here real quick is what Dirk was saying as far as being on the balls of your feet and being off the seat. Another thing that through rattlesnake, when you got to transition from the right to the left, back to the right, you want to make sure that your butt is not touching on the seat, that you are on the balls of your feet, so that when you are transferring from one side to the other, that your butt's not dragging on the seat. Because if it does, all it's going to do is upset the machine, and then the bike's going to get a little bit squirrely. What you want is you want it to be a smooth transition. Like Paul also mentioned, you don't want to have to overwork the bike by picking the bike up and then moving over. It should be all one smooth method. Going from one side, pick the body up, should be straight up and down here, and then doing the initial turn in from the left with the body. As you're going into the corner, you should be putting the body out. What I also do is when I'm in a full tuck and I'm going down the main straight there, and I get my blips in, and I'm getting my braking done before I enter the rattlesnake, I pop up, I turn in, I move over, just like this, I do it again, just like that, guys. And as I'm going over and I'm already done with that transition, is I'll move back into this position right here as I go into the straightaway. So it's like a triangle. You're coming up, you're moving out, and then you're bringing it back in. And it's all smooth. Also, on the drive out on some of the corners, as far as coming out of Tombstone, headed to Big Bend, you'll want to take that a lot smoother, not pop up into the straight position, but you also want, as you're exiting the corner, you also want to be smooth as you come in. No jerking the bike in like this, because all it's going to do is mess with the chassis and machine. You want to be as smooth and as nice as you can to the bike.
Yeah, one more thing for reference is, we'll start with the right-hand side of the room first. But if you guys take the ball of your feet and you're riding with, lift your foot up, the ball of your feet all the way on the peg, there's no room for you to be able to turn your knee because you can't go anywhere. So if you take your foot and you move the ball of your foot out to the very edge of the peg, it gives you the ability to actually turn your toe and point it, which allows you to open up even more, okay? So when you guys are out there, the ball of your foot should be right on the very end of the peg, not necessarily in the middle of the peg or up against the side of the frame, okay? All right, I want to show you guys that over here on this side. So what we're talking about is, if he's got his foot on the middle of the peg or up against the side of the bike here, he can't really open up his knee. There's only so far he can go. But if he takes his foot and he moves the ball of his foot out to the end of the peg, look at that. We've just gained another 6 inches of room and body position that he can move off the bike, okay? So when you guys go out there, remember, yeah, you want to be on the ball of your feet, but also being able to get on the very end of the peg and point your foot into the direction you're going is going to give you that nice triangle of daylight and be able to get you guys to open up a little bit more and get off the bike some more, all right?